Sunlight streamed through my new corner office windows as I traced my fingers along the nameplate. Joanna Porter, Senior Marketing Director. After 15 years of grinding, of being the first one in and last one out, I'd finally made it. The view of downtown Chicago from the 32nd floor felt like validation of every sacrifice I'd made. I smoothed my blazer over my still, flat stomach, wondering how much longer I could keep my pregnancy under wraps. At 3 months, the morning sickness was finally subsiding, and I was ready to prove that impending motherhood wouldn't slow me down. Quite the upgrade from that cubicle, isn't it? Taya appeared in my doorway, 2 steaming cups of coffee in hand. She set one on my desk, then settled into one of my visitor chairs. I still can't believe it's real, I admitted, picking up the cup before remembering I couldn't drink it. The aroma alone would have to suffice. You earned every square inch of this office, she said, then lowered her voice. Though I should warn you, Lindsay's been making waves about the promotion. I fought to keep my expression neutral. Lindsay had only been with the company for 8 months, but she'd somehow wormed her way into every major project. What kind of waves? Just watch your back. She was in Emmett's office for over an hour yesterday. Before I could respond, Emmett appeared in my doorway, his usual confident smile nowhere to be seen. Joanna, got a minute? My stomach dropped at his tone. In his office, he didn't offer me a seat. The board's concerned about the timeline for the Martinez campaign launch. We're ahead of schedule, I said. The preliminary designs. Lindsay brought some concerns to my attention. He wouldn't meet my eyes. Given your condition, they think it might be best to transition the project to her. The world tilted sideways. My condition? The pregnancy, Joanna. Don't play coy. We need someone who can give their full attention. I've never given anything less than my full attention, I cut in, my voice sharp. How did Lindsay even know? That's not relevant. He shuffled some papers on his desk. We're not taking away your promotion, but we need to make some adjustments to your responsibilities. I walked out of his office in a daze, the taste of bile in my throat. In the women's restroom, I splashed cold water on my face, trying to steady my breathing. Can you believe she thought she could hide it? Lindsay's voice drifted in from the stalls. A baby and a promotion. Please. Some people really don't know their limitations. I gripped the sink's edge until my knuckles turned white, watching my career dreams shatter in the mirror's reflection. But beneath the hurt, something else was building. A cold, calculated anger that would change everything. 3 days later, I was organizing files in my new office when I spotted Lindsay slipping out of HR, clutching what looked suspiciously like my personnel file to her chest. She hadn't noticed me watching from behind my partially closed door. My phone buzzed, Mum calling. I almost ignored it, but guilt won out. How's my successful daughter? Her voice carried the warmth I needed right now. They're trying to push me out, Mom. The words tumbled out before I could stop them, just like they did to you at the factory. Because of the baby? She sighed. History repeating itself. But you're stronger than I was, Joanna. You've got an education, resources, and a snake named Lindsay who's trying to steal everything I've worked for. Then don't let her. Mum's voice hardened. You remember what I always told you? Nobody fights harder than a mother protecting her future, we said in unison. After hanging up, I noticed Taya hovering in my doorway. You okay? You look ready to commit murder. Close. I gestured her inside and closed the door. I saw Lindsay coming out of HR with what looked like my file. How did she even know I was pregnant? I haven't told anyone except me, Taya finished. And I swear I didn't say a word, but... She hesitated. But what? I saw her going through your desk last week, when you were at that client lunch. I thought she was just looking for the Martinez files, but now... My blood boiled. That's how she knew? She must have seen my prenatal vitamin prescription. What are you going to do? I pulled out my laptop. First, I'm going to document everything. The desk invasion, the file theft, the discrimination. Then, a knock interrupted us. Angela from HR stood there looking uncomfortable. Joanna, do you have a moment? Taya squeezed my shoulder as she left. I gestured for Angela to sit. "I wanted to discuss the changes to your role," she began. "You mean how I'm being sidelined because I'm pregnant?" My voice was ice. "Isn't that illegal?" Angela shifted. "No one's sidelining you. We're just redistributing responsibilities." To Lindsay, who somehow knew about my pregnancy before I disclosed it, who was just seen leaving HR with my confidential file. Her eyes widened slightly. "I don't know anything about—" "Save it." I pulled out my phone and played the recording of Lindsay's bathroom conversation. "I'm gathering evidence, Angela. The question is, do you want to be part of the problem or part of the solution?" She stared at me for a long moment. "Be careful, Joanna. You don't know what you're getting into." But as she left, I smiled, because for the first time since this started, I knew exactly what I was doing. Rain pelted against my office windows at 6 a.m. as I combed through Lindsay's work files. The early morning darkness provided perfect cover. I wasn't supposed to be here for another 2 hours. My phone lit up with Tyre's text. "Security's clear, you've got 30 minutes. I clicked through Lindsay's network folders, my heart racing. There, the Martinez campaign presentation she'd claimed as her own. Opening the file properties revealed exactly what I'd suspected. The original author was listed as me, creation date 3 months ago. She'd simply copied my work and slapped her name on it. "What are you doing here so early?" I nearly jumped out of my skin. Mohammed from IT stood in my doorway, coffee in hand. "Could ask you the same thing," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. He glanced at my screen. "Interesting reading?" "Just reviewing some files." I closed the laptop. "For the Martinez campaign." "Right." He lingered. "You know, Lindsay asked me to recover some deleted emails last week, said they were crucial for an investigation." My stomach clenched. "What kind of investigation?" "She wouldn't say, but they were all from your account." Before I could respond, voices echoed from the hallway. Lindsay and Emmett arriving early for their private strategy session. Mohammed stepped aside as they passed, but not before giving me a meaningful look. "Be careful what you go looking for, Joanna. Some things can't be unseen." I waited until he left before pulling out my phone to text Tyre. "Need to meet. Now. Bring coffee." 20 minutes later, in the safety of the corner cafe across the street, I showed Tyre what I'd found. "She's not just stealing your work," Tyre said, examining the screenshots. "She's building a case against you. Those emails she had Mohammed recover? Bet they're part of it." "But why? I've never done anything to her." "Haven't you?" Tyre stirred her coffee. "You're everything she wants to be. Successful, respected, actually good at your job. Some people can't stand seeing others succeed." "Well, she picked the wrong pregnant lady to mess with." I pulled out my notebook. "I've got proof she accessed my medical information without consent, stole my work and—" "Joanna." Tyre grabbed my hand. "What if this goes deeper than just Lindsay? Angela's warning, Mohammed's hints about the emails." "Then I'll expose all of them." I squeezed her hand back. I didn't fight my way up from nothing to let them take everything now. Thunder cracked outside, matching my mood. The storm was coming and I was ready to unleash it. The anonymous email arrived during my lunch break. "Lindsay Walsh isn't who she claims to be. Check her references from Pacific West Marketing." I stared at my screen. Sandwich forgotten. The sender's address was a random string of numbers, but something about it felt legitimate. "You look like you've seen a ghost," Tyre said, dropping into the chair across from my desk. I turned my laptop to show her. "Someone knows something." "Could be a trap," she warned, "or it could be the break we need." I was already dialing Pacific West's HR department. After some creative storytelling about being a potential employer, I had my answer. "No record of a Lindsay Walsh ever working here," the HR rep had said. I hung up, hands shaking. She faked her employment history. All of it. "That's huge." Tyre leaned forward. "We can take this to—" "To who?" I cut her off. "Emmett? Angela? They're all in on it somehow." "Then go above them. Corporate compliance, the board." The office door opened and Mohammed stepped in. "Sorry to interrupt, but I thought you should know. Lindsay's asking for access to the secure server. Says Emmett approved it." "The one with all our client data?" Taya asked. Mohammed nodded. I'm stalling, but… He glanced over his shoulder. Meet me at Jerry's bar after work. There's more you need to know. After he left, Taya grabbed my arm. This is getting dangerous, Joe. Maybe you should back off. Think about the baby. I am thinking about the baby. I pressed a hand to my growing bump. What kind of mother would I be if I let people like Lindsay walk all over me? The kind that's alive and employed? Her voice cracked. I'm worried about you. Before I could respond, Lindsay breezed past my office, phone to her ear. Yes, we'll have full access by tomorrow. No, she doesn't suspect anything. My blood ran cold. I grabbed my purse. I'm going to Jerry's. You coming? Taya hesitated. I can't, but please be careful. Jerry's was nearly empty when I arrived. Mohammed sat in a corner booth nursing a beer. Lindsay's not a corporate spy, he said as I sat down. She's worse. What do you mean? She's been placed here by someone powerful, someone who wants to take down this company from the inside. Why tell me this? He leaned forward. Because you're not the first person she's done this to, and if we don't stop her, you won't be the last. The implications hit me like a punch to the gut. I wasn't just fighting for my job anymore, I was fighting to expose something much bigger, much darker, and I was in way over my head. She's working for Marcus & Reed, Mohammed said, sliding a folder across the table. Our biggest competitor. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside were photos of Lindsay meeting with Marcus & Reed executives, dated months before she joined our company. How did you get these? Because I was supposed to be working with her. He took a long drink. They recruited me too, offered to pay off my student loans if I helped them access certain files. But then, I saw what happened at her last target. What happened? The company collapsed. 300 people lost their jobs. The CEO went to prison for fraud that Lindsay helped orchestrate by planting false evidence. A waitress approached, but I waved her away. Does Emmett know? Emmett's being blackmailed. Mohammed lowered his voice. Lindsay found out about his gambling debts. He's helping her to save himself. My phone buzzed. A text from Taya. Where are you? Lindsay just called an emergency meeting about the Martinez account. I have to go. I stood up, but Mohammed grabbed my wrist. Wait, there's more. The secure server access she's requesting. It's not just for client data. She's after the pension fund information. They're going to steal people's retirement money. The room spun. I gripped the table for support. Not steal, manipulate, make it look like management has been embezzling for years. He handed me a USB drive. Everything you need to prove it is here. But be careful, the last person who tried to expose her ended up in prison, I finished. The CEO you mentioned, he nodded. She's thorough, and she has powerful friends. Back at the office, I found Taya pacing outside my door. Thank God! They're saying you stole proprietary information, Joe. They're calling the police. What? But even as I said it, I saw them. 2 officers following Lindsay down the hallway, Emmett trailing behind them. Joanna Porter? One officer stepped forward. We need you to come with us. On what charges? My voice sounded distant, strange. Corporate espionage, Lindsay said, her face a mask of concern. We have evidence you've been selling company secrets to Marcus & Reed. The USB drive felt like it was burning a hole in my pocket. I looked at Taya, saw the fear in her eyes, then at Emmett, who wouldn't meet my gaze. I want my lawyer, I said, straightening my spine, and I want the board of directors present before I say anything else. Lindsay's smile faltered slightly. She hadn't expected that. As the officers led me out, I caught Mohammed's eye across the office. He gave me the slightest nod. The game wasn't over. It was just getting started. They're going to destroy you, Taya said, pacing my living room. After 6 hours at the police station, I'd been released pending investigation. Just take the severance package they offered. Walk away. And let them steal millions from people's pensions. I clutched my tea, trying to stay calm for the baby's sake. I can't. You're 4 months pregnant. This isn't just about you anymore. Exactly. I set down my cup. It's about everyone, the janitors who've worked here for 30 years, the single moms in accounting, they'll lose everything. My phone rang. Angela from HR. Joanna, her voice was hushed. I'm risking my job calling you, but you need to know. Lindsay's meeting with the board tomorrow morning. She's presenting evidence that you've been embezzling funds. My heart stopped. What evidence? Bank transfers, emails, all dating back months. They look real, Joanna. They're not. I have proof. Don't tell me, she cut in. Just be ready. 9 a.m. tomorrow. After she hung up, Tyre collapsed onto my couch. This is insane. You need to think about... Stop telling me what to think about, I snapped. You have no idea what it's like, growing up watching your mother work 3 jobs, barely surviving. I won't let them do this. Even if it means losing everything? Going to prison? I won't let that happen. I pulled out Mohammed's USB drive. But I need your help, she stared at it. I can't. I'm sorry, Joe. I have kids to think about too. Tyre, please. No, she grabbed her purse. I love you, but you're on your own. After she left, I called Mohammed. How do we do this? The board meetings are only shot, he said. But Lindsay's got security watching me. I can't get in. You don't need to. I rubbed my stomach, feeling a kick. I'm still technically an employee. I have every right to be there. It's dangerous. So is doing nothing. I opened my laptop. Walk me through the files. I need to understand everything. As Mohammed explained the evidence, a plan formed. It was risky, possibly illegal, and could backfire spectacularly. But as I felt another kick from my baby, I knew I had to try. I called my mother. Remember how you always said nobody fights harder than a mother protecting her future? Of course. I need you to remind me why. She was quiet for a moment. Because when you fight for your child, you're fighting for every dream you ever had. Every hope, every possibility. I looked at the USB drive, then at my reflection in the window. Tomorrow would change everything, one way or another. The boardroom was silent when I walked in at 8:55 a.m. Lindsay's presentation was already up on the screen, my face prominently displayed beside damning financial records. You're not supposed to be here. Emmett started to rise, but I cut him off. Actually, I am. I connected my laptop to the projector. As an accused employee, I have the right to defend myself. This is inappropriate, Lindsay protested, but the board chairman raised his hand. Let her speak. I took a deep breath. Before Lindsay shows you her evidence of my supposed crimes, I'd like to show you something. I pulled up the first file. This is Lindsay's real employment history, or should I say, Sarah Mitchell's history. Lindsay's face went white. The board members leaned forward. Sarah Mitchell, who orchestrated the collapse of 3 other companies using the exact same playbook she's using here. I clicked through Mohammed's evidence. False allegations against key employees, followed by pension fund manipulation, followed by total corporate collapse. These are lies, Lindsay Sarah sputtered. Emmett, tell them. But Emmett was staring at the screen, seeing his own involvement documented in black and white. You said nobody would find out about the gambling. Oh, they were counting on your gambling, I continued, just like they counted on Angela's sick daughter needing expensive treatment. I met Angela's eyes. Marcus and Reed offered to pay for all of it, didn't they? If you helped them. Angela burst into tears, nodding. This is absurd. Lindsay tried again, but the chairman held up his hand. Is this why you requested secure server access? The pension fund transfers were scheduled for tomorrow, I confirmed. After I was discredited and arrested, nobody would look too closely at the accounting. Enough! Lindsay grabbed her phone, but Mohammed appeared in the doorway. Looking for this? He held up her real phone. The one with all the Marcus and Reed contacts? I took the liberty of sending everything to the FBI. As if on cue, federal agents entered the boardroom. Lindsay's face contorted with rage. You stupid pregnant bitch, she snarled. You have no idea what you've done. Actually, I do. I rested my hand on my stomach. I've protected 300 families from losing everything. I've stopped you from destroying more lives. The agents led Lindsay away in handcuffs. Emmett and Angela were escorted out for questioning. The chairman approached me, looking grave. Ms. Porter, we owe you an apology. And a debt of gratitude. I don't want gratitude, I said. I want changes. Real policies protecting employees. Better oversight. And a commitment to ethics that's more than just words in a mission statement. He nodded slowly. Perhaps you should be the one to implement those changes. How would you feel about joining the executive committee? Behind him, I saw Taya in the doorway, tears in her eyes, mouthing, "I'm sorry." I smiled at her, then turned back to the chairman. "When do I start?" "The nursery's looking good," Mom said, helping me arrange stuffed animals in the corner of the mint green room. "Though I still think you should move back home. Let me help with the baby." I smiled, adjusting a picture frame on the wall, my new executive committee portrait. "I need to be here. The ethics oversight program launches next week." "Always fighting the good fight," she squeezed my shoulder. "Just like your old mom." My phone buzzed. A text from Taya. "Turn on the news." I flicked on my phone's news app. Lindsay's face filled the screen as she was led into court. The headline read, "Corporate saboteur pleads guilty, multiple companies affected." "That's her?" Mom asked. "Was her." I sat in the rocking chair, rubbing my now prominent belly. She'll be in prison for a long time. The doorbell rang. Taya stood there with Mohammed, holding a massive gift basket. "Peace offering." She held it out. "I should have believed in you. You were trying to protect me." I hugged her. "That's what friends do." "Speaking of protection," Mohammed said, "the new security protocols are in place. No one can access personnel files without triple authentication now." "Good." I waddled to the kitchen for tea. "How's Angela?" "Better," Taya said. "The company's insurance is covering her daughter's treatment. She's doing well in therapy, dealing with the guilt." "And Emmett. Mandatory gambling addiction treatment as part of his plea deal," Mohammed reported. "He'll serve community service, but no jail time." Mom brought out cookies and we settled in my living room. The baby kicked as I sipped my tea, making me smile. "What?" Taya asked. "Just thinking about how different things could have been. If I'd stayed quiet, taken the severance." "But you didn't," Mom said proudly. "You fought back." "We fought back," I corrected, looking at Mohammed and Taya. "Sometimes you need to risk everything to protect what matters." "Speaking of protection," Mohammed pulled out an envelope. "The board approved your proposal. Full paid parental leave, on-site childcare, flexible scheduling. For everyone," I finished. "Not just executives." "You're changing things," Taya said softly. "Really changing things." The baby kicked again, harder this time. I pressed my hand against the spot, feeling the strength of that tiny life, a life that would grow up in a world where justice was possible, where standing up for what's right mattered. "That's the plan," I said, watching the sunset paint my nursery walls gold. "One change at a time." Mom squeezed my hand. "Nobody fights harder." "Than a mother protecting her future." We all finished together, laughing. Outside, the city lights began to twinkle. My city, my future, my victory.